Welcome back to Sparkplug Motorsport 2, the only YouTube channel where the budget started at zero and continues going lower. Today, I just wanted to talk about F1 intros and why I feel like Formula 1 management for the past few years have kind of screwed up, and also why Formula E have kind of gone a little bit lame. So, I believe the first place to look at in terms of talking about intros is where we are right now, and then look at what we've had before. Now, of course, with this being audio only and a lot of the music here being copyright claims, I'm not going to be playing any of the music or showing any of the footage. You will have to go after that yourself. However, I will do my best to correctly credit what I'm going to be talking about. So, right now, the best mainstream motorsport intro is currently, in my opinion, in 2025, Channel 4's Formula 1 intro. Which is weird because it's the one that's least documented. I feel like the idea of looking through the wind tunnel, a lot of the gravel tire effects that are done there, the flag as well in the middle, showing all the tracks. The way it's done is very fluid. It uses real life footage where necessary, and it's very smartly done, smartly brought together. I like it quite a bit. I feel as if for a while, Channel 4 has had the best mainstream motorsport intro. I know that across the pond there are other motorsport. I am going to disregard V8 Supercars because I don't watch that. Porsche Mobil 1 Super Cup, don't care. So I'm not going to be talking about any of those. But in terms of all motorsport that I watch, so that's F1, NASCAR, IndyCar, Formula E, F2, F3, and F1 Academy, those are the ones I'm going to be talking about. I feel like Channel 4's F1 intro does it the best. And I will be talking about broadcaster intros separately. So I'm talking about broadcaster intros right now. And that's why I say Channel 4 is still just better than the rest, because they make use of prior season footage. It's done very well, and all of the technical effects, all of the VFX stuff in it, it works to its advantage, doesn't detract from it at all. That is the gold standard that we are working with right now. They've had better intros in the past. They've actually worked with less before. If you look at their first intros with Formula 1 in 2016 through 2018. Is Genesis by Justice a great song to use? I'd argue yes. I'd argue it's a brilliant song choice. There are worse song choices, and I am going to go back in time with the British stuff and try and intertwine the US and Spain and Japan while talking about this, because I have words to say about them. But in terms of the current era of broadcaster F1 intros, if you're watching for free, we're doing quite good right now. So then, when you're paying to watch the races live and you're seeing Sky Sports blatantly reuse the same animations for 4 years in a row, from 2022 through to 2025, all I can say is, we are paying £40 a month for this. £40 a month for this. Are we serious? Because is the initial one, is the original version good? Yes. Did it need to be reused to death? No, it did not. There are no changes aside from the new liveries in Las Vegas being added for 2023. That was it. The cars aren't even accurate to what the cars look like in real life. It's just the original FIA render, which, okay, fair enough. But come on, and the music isn't even that great. I understand Daft Punk is a well-respected band, and I get it. Tron Legacy's soundtrack as well is great. Outlands was not the song to use. Deriesed was right there. Eurosport knew this back in 2017 when they had the rights to Formula E. There's an intro on this channel for the Eurosport Formula E intro. It uses Deriesed from Tron Legacy, and it goes so hard. And yet Sky Sports uses Outlands, and they've been using Outlands since 2019 or 2018. And I I just don't like it. It's just alright, honestly. It's the same on ESPN and Sky Germany and Sky Sports NZ and everywhere that the Sky feed is used, except outside of the UK they have their own knockoff version of the song, which, I mean, it's a knockoff version of the song. You'd be surprised how much a different song does this intro some more justice, because on this channel I've posted the version of this intro that's used in Italy. They've got rock music in the background, and that works a lot better, in my opinion. Is it basic in terms of melody? Yes. But it's rock music. You can have the most basic rock melody, and I don't care because you're using guitars, and as we all know, guitars sound like race cars. Fox Sports knows this. That's why they use Kickstart My Heart for the IndyCar intro. And IndyCar has had some brilliant intros in the past. The Fox Sport intro, this is Fox's first time broadcasting American open wheel racing since, I believe, 2004, when Speed Channel, operated by Fox, they had the broadcasting rights to the Champ Car World Series powered by Ford. And honestly, the CGI here is not bad. It's not a bad intro, it's alright. I like some of the angles, I like some of the decisions, it's just not for me. It's not for me. It's not bad. Motley Crue is doing all of the hard work here. It's doing all of the hard work. So, what's after this? I mean, Fox Sports' IndyCar intros, it's good. Don't get me wrong, Motley Crue definitely kickstarted my heart, got me into watching IndyCar live. Sky Sports Formula 1 needs to use the Italian music, and Channel 4 is still doing good stuff. What about NASCAR? What about NASCAR? What about NASCAR? There's so many intros because they have 5 different broadcasters. Fox Sports doesn't have an intro. NBC doesn't have an intro. TNT has an intro, and honestly, it's not bad. Like the music that they use, I believe it's from AC/DC. TNT NASCAR right now. I don't think it's too bad. Actually, NBC has an intro, but I'm like it. It's country music. I know NASCAR is country motorsport, but it's like, really, guys, this really what we're gonna play around with? Seriously, the drivers playing pool in a bar. Okay. The TNT stuff, that's some good CGI, that's some good black and white rendering with some... I like it. I like it quite a bit. I like both pieces of music that they use for it. I like it. I don't love it. Because for the NASCAR Cup Series, I'm ignoring the Truck Series because Fox doesn't care and doesn't give it an intro. For the Cup Series, Prime Video did a fantastic job on every aspect of the broadcasting here. It was immaculate, honestly. I loved it. I loved the intro. I loved the vibe of everything. It was fantastic. And I feel like the intro for Prime Video was what NBC tried to do. They tried to do country, making you feel homey, making you remind yourself of the past in NASCAR. But Prime Video just did that extra step, and that's weird to me because NBC's been broadcasting NASCAR since like 1999. This is Prime Video's first time broadcasting NASCAR. Heck, it's their first time broadcasting motorsport as a whole, and they knocked it out of the entire park. Fantastic job. The CW NASCAR Xfinity Series intro is pretty good. Nothing special. The music ain't special to me. The CGI is okay. It's a good intro, alright? It's done well, but it's not blowing me away is the thing. It's not blowing me away. It's not making me think, that's iconic. That's amazing. It's just making me think, that is good. Heck, it's great. It's just not S tier. It's not SSS tier, is what I'm trying to say. I'm not trying to say everything needs to be SSS tier. I'm just glad that it's good. I'm just glad that we have an intro, actually. I'm gonna continue looking at television intros all the way back until like 2000 before I touch on the official stuff, because there's a lot less to talk about there. But I have a lot more words to say on that, and I want to save that for the back end. Sorry, before Channel 4 had F1 coverage... Actually, you know what? Before I talk about before Channel 4, how about I talk about IndyCar under NBC Sports Network, because that means I can actually talk about both in conjunction. I don't actually have too much to say on NASCAR and going back in time until 2006, so welcome to the F1 IndyCar section of the entire thing. IndyCar on NBC for the final few years, that's like 2018 through 2024. The intro was like the IndyCar in a bit of a showroom with some screens showing some cool moments, some helmet cam shots. It's not bad. Again, the music in both is great. I prefer the one in 2018 compared to what we had from current music from the Indy 500 of 2019 all the way until NBC Sports' final IndyCar race in 2024. I just feel, once again, it's just alright. It's nothing special. They lost the F1 license in 2017, did NBC, to ESPN, so we still ain't got to talk about them yet. Channel 4's intro from 2018 through to 2024, we already touched on the 2024 stuff. 2022 and 2023, they had this very unique idea, in my opinion, of showing off racing with the new cars with like different colored blocks as like pixels, I guess, colored pixels, and I liked it quite a bit. It reminded me of the BBC 2012 F1 intro, and trust me, I'm gonna get to it eventually. I'm gonna gush over the BBC intros as a whole, because they know how to do intros for anything. I'm not a football fan, but if I was watching Match of the Day as like a 4-year-old right now, I would be trying to get into Arsenal as quickly as possible. Obviously, I was a football fan at some point. I'm British. I fell out of love with it because I just stopped keeping up with it. Motorsport took over my life. What was I talking about? Oh yes, 2018, and in fact I'm gonna go back to 2016 with this. 2016 through 2018, the first time that Channel 4 had the license to Formula 1. It's alright. The black and white glitch stuff is very cool. I know I just skipped over the first time they used Genesis, but honestly, they did CGI, some cool graphic stuff there, which is very similar to, it reminds me of a lot of the Speed Channel intros, but arguably done a lot better. It's arguably done quite a bit better. So that's why I kind of glossed over it. I just wanted to talk about this one because they use hexagons quite a bit in the early Channel 4 broadcasting. I don't know why. Oh yeah, they used the chain for this one, mainly just to try and smooth over the transition between BBC to Channel 4. Like, first it was bring over the chain, bring over everyone who was working on the BBC, except for the main presenter, who I believe was Jenny Gow, and they've replaced him with some Aussie guy who was very cool, but I forgot his name, I'm very sorry. But yeah, the intro was still great. Channel 4 only made bangers. 2016-2017 NBC Sports Network, I couldn't find anything before 2017, so all I have to go off is their 2017 intro. And the blue is definitely an idea as they show an F1 car being made, I guess is the best way to put it. It's an interesting idea. It's very similar to the IndyCar intro that they would make the following year, but it's just alright, I guess. It's not bad, it's alright. They show Prince Harry, in a shot of it, and it makes me go, oh yeah, that's right, that guy does exist. Yeah, that's right, believe it or not, most of us here in the UK do not care about the royal family. Shocker, I know. But, you know, again, it's a good intro. The music is good again. The IndyCar intro, from here all the way back until when NBC got the license from Versus Network as they bought them in 2012, it was very good. The intro music is great. They show a lot of prior racing footage and I believe some testing footage with some CG before the shot of the logo done in 3D, where they run up through the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, zoom up to the logo, and then they zoom into the logo as the transition. That's something that's done quite a lot. But around this time, ABC Sports also had the rights to IndyCar, so I get to talk about that as well. I don't like it. I don't like any of the ABC Sports IndyCar intros from like 2010 onwards. Whenever they started doing the tunnel with blue and red cars with blue and red streaks, that was a bad intro. The CG was done poorly. It did not hype me up. In fact, I would go as far as to say it did the exact opposite. It put me to sleep. Even though they used the same music that they've been using since like 2004, probably even before. It's a great song that they used. They didn't use it right. They didn't use it right. I'll probably get into some more examples of that. But considering that we're now in 2012, we've got the entirety of the BBC's tenure with Formula 1 to talk about. But before that, the first few NBC Sports F1 intros, they're not bad. They're not bad, honestly. I've seen worse. The CG's done quite well. It's done competently. I like the way that they show the F1 logo at the end. It's pretty good. It's actually pretty good. I like it. The music's the same as they would use for the entire broadcasting of F1, and I believe MotoGP as well, but I don't know enough about MotoGP to make that a feature. Oh well. So yes, the BBC. They got the license back in 2009, and it's at this point in time, 2009, where I can talk about Japanese intros as well, and I will Japanese about the Japanese after the BBC segment. 2009 through 2011, they have the same intro, the chain blaring with some very, very good CGI for 2009 through 2011. I put it as A tier. It's not iconic. What is iconic is the 2012 intro. I can make a short about it. I'm not going to make a short about it. It starts showing a glossy version of that year's F1 car. And then it starts bulging up with some very cool impact sounds. And these black and white cubes are coming out of the car. And they come out of the back of the car as well, as if it's in a wind tunnel, as the chain actually reaches that guitar solo section. And then you realise it's checkered flags, it's sections of a checkered flag, forming iconic moments in Formula 1 up to that point. That's genius. That is genius. That sticks with you. That's amazing. That is perfect. I love it. I feel like the chain as a song kind of overrated in terms of F1 intro discourse. But this is some fantastic stuff. I love it. And the way it ends as well, all of the blocks showing different moments in F1 as well. They all kind of vortex together, form a checkered flag, BBC Sport, Formula 1, the Australian Grand Prix or whatever. And the blocks are still racing by as if they're cars. Alright, BBC. I believe this was done by Sit and Duck Media as well. Might have gotten that wrong, but that's fantastic. Absolutely magnificent intro work there. So then for 2013 through 2015, they take some real life clips and they do some CGI upgrades for the racing to give us some angles that were never done in real life. Yeah, okay. I'm sorry. It's just, this is a good intro as well. It's just, we had peak and you give us 9.5 out of 10. When you give us a 12 out of 10 and follow it up by a 9.5 out of 10, it's gonna feel underwhelming. Even if it's really good, it's still gonna feel underwhelming. It's always gonna feel underwhelming. In 2015, I believe the BBC kind of knew it was their last year with broadcasting Formula 1, so they would end the intro showing all of the champions' signatures on the trophy and like a bit of a trophy cabinet. It was pretty cool. It was pretty cool. That's it. Now, 2009 is the first year I can talk international. I'm going to mention Spain's intro. I'm going to mention France. This is TF1 stuff. But I'm going to start with Japan. And I'm just going to talk about Japan's entire tenure up to this point. 2000, they had Go Further, which is a DTM song that was used in Gran Turismo. And, the Japanese, they know how to video edit. I think it's very obvious. And when you see the intro, it's very good. It's kind of hard for me to describe, but when the guitar riff goes, it's insanity. Engineered insanity. I hope someone gets that reference. They go back to using Truth from 2001 through to 2002. And the way that Fuji TV used Truth is they had the song play, they'd show some of the more iconic cars with a stat sheet in the top corner. Okay. It's not how I would do it. It's not hype. It's more of a facts file. The end of it would show the cars going around, like just going past the screen, saying what race it is, and they use this same style of intros from 1980 something. 89, I believe, when they got the license, and it's like, okay, cool, you're showing that you can use CGI. Alright, now do something with that. They didn't. Instead, they massively upscaled their video editing for 2003 through 05, where they used Truth, the DNB remix. They used the drum and bass remix of Truth. And to tell the truth, that is hype. The song is hype. The way it's edited is hype because they take some classic moments from F1. They do the stat thing, but the clips are so rapid fire that you're rarely ever going to see it. The ending shot will stick with you the first time that you see it. You're going to get chills. Peak. It's peak. It's peak. They would do something similar in 2006 to celebrate their anniversary in broadcasting. That they would show, but before the actual racing part of the intro itself, they would show in CG statues of some of the champions: Schumacher, Prost, Hakkinen, and of course the Japanese's favourite, Ayrton Senna. I love it. I love it all. So what would they bring to the table in 2007 and 2008? Did someone ask for Formula Zero? Did someone ask for F-Zero, the anime? No. Too bad. Oh yeah, we're also bringing in Flash by Queen, the Flash Gordon theme. I mean, it's out of this world. I kind of love it. Using it's animated. It's animated as well, so it's like, it's cool. It's cool. I like it. It's very much out there. I don't think any other broadcaster tried this. At least not in this century. It's very much different. And it's very much Japanese. They did something similar in 2008, but they removed the drawings and made it less special. 2009, they would use a different song. God Only Knows, the 10s version, I believe is what they used. And it's very interesting to see what they did because they had these light CGI stuff, these light streaks going across the screen, and it intertwines with the actual FOM intro, which, trust me, I will get into this this video is going to be like an hour long because there's so much for me to talk about. There's so much. So freaking much. I love this sport to death. You got these light streaks going around the globe because, Formula 1 races around the world, and they show moments from the prior season, the season so far, and then you have the light streaks going across videos of the drivers, and then the driver photo, it stops, takes a freeze frame, and glass shards fly out. Again, it's out there, but it's iconic. It works. That's what I love. In 2010, this is the last year I can actually talk about the Japanese because this is the last one that I've seen. They would continue using the song, but they would make it look artistic. They do paint stripes, I think is the best way to describe it, I guess. Again, it's very cool. It's very much Japanese. I like it. It feels a little cultural as well. Again, very cool. What's the next country to talk about from here before I continue going on about the UK with ITV's tenure, which takes us all the way back to 1997? Oh no. It's the French. Of course, with me being British, you wouldn't expect me to be giving too many glowing reviews over the French, but trust me when I say their intros are torrid. Every single one of them, not good. The songs are bad. The way they show the racing is bad. Canal Plus, they have a car going through, light tunnels in darkness, which is okay, this isn't Eurovision. This is Formula 1. Give me something other than house music. Again, this isn't Eurovision. This is F1. But hey, TF1, let's see what you got. Oh, it's just moments in F1 on a screen, on many different screens that will form the F1 logo. It's not even racing as a whole. Your song is bad. I could compose something better, and I'm not even that confident as a composer. This is trash. This is trash. No wonder we don't have a French Grand Prix anymore. No wonder. Next place to talk about is Latin America, and I understand, I'm just going to ding off South America as a whole before I talk about the US, Spain, and Germany. Those are the last ones that I promise I'll talk about. I might talk about someone else because I forget. Latin America, Fox Sports, LATAM. The music is an interesting choice. The editing is interestingly done. I'm not gonna lie, it does hype me up. It is a very good hype track, but it's not great. Brazil's F1 theme sucks. That is wedding music. That is not music for motorsport. It is very bad. I would be giving it too much credit if I were to speak about it for longer than this. So let's talk about Germany instead. Because the German RTL intros are very good. I like a lot of the 2000 stuff, and that's what I'm going to be talking about here. The 2000s RTL intros are you got moment of racing with intense guitar music, and then calm, build up. More intense guitar music with racing, moment of build up. Short stab of guitar music and racing, build up. And then the guitars and the racing goes in for a good 10 seconds before telling you what race it is, what session it is. Good stuff. That's the good stuff. I like that. That's good. Helps that the music choice as the actual music kicks in is also top tier. You're gonna say I'm glazing. I am. Spain. I'm only gonna be talking about the Telecinco stuff. I'm only actually gonna talk about one part of the Telecinco stuff, and that was the end of their coverage, 2007 and 2008. They used CGI, and considering what the BBC would do the following year, and what La Sexta would do, which I'm not talking about them because I haven't seen too much and I haven't been able to go too far in depth with their stuff to know exactly what I'm talking about. This is kind of bad. I'm sorry. I just have to say it. It's not great. I've seen better. I'm gonna forget about talking about Sky Italy and Sky UK, so after I'm done talking about the US, I will touch on Sky Italy and Sky UK, and then go to ITV. This video is going to be an hour and a half long, I'm sure. But the CGI itself is not great. The racing footage in the CGI, not great. It's not rendered well from what I've seen, although the only recordings I could find were from DivX video recordings for 2007 and 2008. The 2006 stuff is like done in a comic book style. It's not bad. I don't hate it. But what brings all three of these together, what forgives the pretty mediocre and lackluster CGI, is the music. The music for Telecinco around this time was the pinnacle of Formula One music. I'd go as far as to say this is Formula One encapsulated into song. That is it. Those are my words. Very cool. Now, I've touched on America's NBC Sports Network, but what came before that? Well, of course, I'm not talking about IndyCar yet, so I don't have to speak about the Versus Network. Not quite yet. I don't have to talk about IndyCars being Megazords. Not yet. Because we have the Speed Channel to talk about. 2005 through to 2000 and... I think it was 2012 when Speed Channel went defunct. They had a very similar intro, and it's not bad. It ain't perfect, but it's not bad. The music from 2005 through to 2011, much better than what they would use for 2012, which is some very generic orchestral music, which you would hear in a B-movie Marvel ripoff. What they used in 2005 through 2011 is much better. It's very similar to what they would do for their GP2 intro. They started in black and gold, with text saying Formula One. They move over to the side, showing some cool moments from history with some commentary calls as well. Then they would show some technical aspects, images of the cars, some teams with the drivers' nationalities below the team logos, with some racing moments in commentary. They do this for the top three in the championship, I believe. They zoom out on the left-hand side of your screen, the calendar. You've got moments from seasons, the last season and season so far, flying across the globe. And then it would load the drivers. 5 of the top drivers that you should know. And I believe it would end with the reigning series champion. So in 2009, it would end with Lewis Hamilton. Actually, I believe it ended with Lewis Hamilton 3 times because he's just very famous. And then it would end with a CGI version of the F1 logo with the speed logo coming in as it usually would. And that is a very, very, very cool intro. 2002 through 2004 enters the room. Speed Channel is brand new to the game, technically. It just rebranded from Speed Vision, but brand new, bam. So, they show the Speed logo come across the screen. Zoom out to show the full Speed logo with racing footage behind, then zoom into the racing footage, give them a little part of some racing as well on a bit of a technological screen, I guess is the best way to put it. Then you zoom in on the middle of it, because actually in that moment of racing after the Speed logo is shown, I believe shows the some racetracks in the corner of the screen as well. I can't put it to words because zooms in, gives us a rear view of David Coulthard driving his McLaren around the Indianapolis Roval. The song in this is hype. I posted it on the main channel. I posted an extended cut of it on the main channel. It's just... I just love Speed Channel, man. It's so good. They knew what they were doing. They cared, as America's Motorsport Authority, as they called themselves in their last moments. They cared. They showed they cared. Sorry. We've got all of that. Gone through all of that. We now have to talk about Sky Sports joining in 2012 in the UK and 2013 in Italy. What were their intros like? Well, here in the UK there are two different flavours of Just Drive. You had their first year where they showed classic moments from Formula One's history with Just Drive playing in the background. It starts with looking into Sebastian Vettel's eyes, and then the end of it zooming out, looking at the RB9, I believe, is a 2012 car, before Light Streaks F1, Sky Sports F1. Now, do note, in Italy, they had an advert for this, but they swapped out Vettel with Fernando Alonso, and they used the actual version of Just Drive, because for whatever reason, here in the UK, instead of saying where they've died 1,000 times, it says lived 1,000 times, which arguably makes less sense. Because, you know, I'm going to leave that to an actual musical theory as to fully explain why died 1,000 times makes more sense than lived 1,000 times. Because if you lived 1,000 times, then you're probably still alive. If you died 1,000 times, it means that where you're going is quite dangerous, but you're still going to do it anyway because you love the game. And that's Formula One. Meanwhile, in Italy, they would use Negramaro's Una Storia Semplice. I'm not Italian, so don't dog on me for the pronunciation. It's a CGI and testing hybrid. It starts looking at 5 red lights. It's a red background with all the cars on a racetrack, where you've got red background as I've already mentioned, bit of blue, bit of some city skylines as well. They're about to go racing. They stare into Fernando Alonso's helmet, and then you think about the testing, all of the testing that's gone into it, as I believe it is the chorus part of Negramaro's song playing. It's pretty good. And then they get to the bridge, and that's when the cars actually go. That's the technological part of the song, and I like the song quite a bit. Wish there was an official instrumental version of it. There isn't. So, I gotta live with it. I just gotta live with it. And you'll notice that the cars actually have light trails. I love light trails in Formula One. It implies that the cars go near the speed of light, and that's what it feels like. So, do it. Put more light trails in your F1 intros. Why aren't you doing that? Let me calm down for a second. Because the last shot, after you see all the cars in CG racing around a fictional circuit with some very cool camera angles, the last shot shows all, at the time, 12 teams in liveries go across the start-finish line before light streaks create the Sky Sport F1 HD intro. And that's peak. Now, I've already talked about the current Sky Sport intros, but then again, not exactly the full story for Italy, because their song from Finlay, who did the Lego Legends of Chima theme, Tutto Quello Cielo, or Everything That I Have, which is what I'm gonna call it, because if I can translate your name, then I will say it translated. It's a very good intro, and actually follows a very similar trend to how the Just Drive intro was done. You know, showing the start of the race. I know the Just Drive intro from 2013 onwards would show all the analysts and actually the car the reigning champion's car in the garage before it actually got to the racing stuff, but for Sky Italy, it just got straight to the racing. All the drivers on the grid, and then drums got racing. You got some drivers being shown off, obviously, but also it feels a bit like a concert because you see Finlay themselves performing it. Is that the music? It's not the music video, because the music video is the band members going karting. I don't get it. It's still hype. It's still hype because they got their commentator, which is one of the best in the game. He really loves F1. They got him going ham as well. I'm not going to touch on the 2019 through 2021 Sky Sport GB intros, mainly just because they just kind of exist. It also means I can finally talk about ITV's intros. Whenever someone says, "Oh, the chain is overrated, right guys?" they immediately follow up with, "Yeah, Lift Me Up is so much better." No, it isn't. No. I'm here to tell you, no. Lift Me Up by Moby is not a good intro song. And in fact, the start and end of ITV's tenure is bookended by two intros that do not have intro music qualities. They are just not hype music. They are, like, Jamiroquai, brilliant band. I love the stuff that you have for their starting grid and all the other times that their song is used. The 1997 through 99 song and intro, not good. It is not good at all. It shows the slowest pit stop in F1 history, cut together, of course. So technically it's faster than Valtteri Bottas's Monaco 2021 disaster, but still, I don't like it because it's in the wind tunnel as well. I don't know, JK, I just think it's just not great. It's quite bad. They would bring it back together with Black Beat by Apollo 440, which is a great song. The additions made by ITV worsened it. We did not need the trumpets. Did not need it. Not enough. And then you have their own version of Back and Tuner Overdrive's You Ain't Seen Nothing Yet. You might notice that I'm not actually talking about the visuals after the Jamiroquai stuff. In a nutshell, it's kind of, it shows racing, the drivers, is for the Apollo 440 stuff, light streaks, and, you know, it's pretty good stuff. Back and Tuner Overdrive remix, this full song, I believe was made but just never released, which makes me very angry because I want to listen to the full version. There needs to be a full version. And a cleaner version as well. But that currently doesn't exist, so boo me. The intro itself focuses around blue, red, and yellow, I guess referencing the main teams of 2003 through 2005, those being Ferrari, Renault, and Williams and McLaren, depending on your persuasion. You know what? Screw it. The 2003-2005 intro is the best one, but that's not what I'm here to mainly discuss on the F1 front and for the broadcasters. I'm mainly here to discuss why the 2006 through 2008 one is the worst. First off, they were broadcasting GP2 at the same time. Speed Channel had something similar to their F1 intro at the time. Very cool. ITV, what are you doing? We don't need to see barely clothed women waving checkered flags as you zoom in to glass panels showing racing, and it's got some of the worst music I've heard in motorsport. It's not as bad as hearing Lift Me Up or what Jamiroquai did. It's just kind of there. Is it better than the TF1 theme? Barely, I guess, because it actually does somewhat hype me up. It's just not great. So then, all the glass panels is just moving around with some of the worst keyframing I've seen in quite a bit. And then the logo comes in and it's eh. I'd like to talk about Setanta Sports here, but honestly, aside from Theo Red's screw going quite hard, the intro itself is actually just kind of okay. So, considering that Setanta is owned by ITN, let's take a look at what EV, the main broadcaster from ITN, did. They shit the bed. They shit quite hard. I don't know what they were thinking for the entirety of the intro's duration. I don't know why you have the car going through a roulette wheel and it not being obviously Monaco. I don't know why you use Lift Me Up. I don't know why you've got some sumo wrestler dressed in like Chinese stuff. I don't know if I'm being offensive by saying what I'm saying right now, but it's like, I don't understand what you're doing. The last shot with the car escaping from the CGI abyss is not as cool as you think it is. It's just hella mid, and I've got a lot of reasons to say it's hella mid. Now, 2000 through to 2009 on the IndyCar front, actually I can go up to 2011 to talk about Versus Channel. Versus Channel, 2010 through 2011, they used the Versus Channel NHL theme. It's a very good theme. They show some technical stuff, they do some red editions with the racing footage of the prior few years, which is very cool. I like the song as well. It's pitch shifted down for some reason. It's alright. What everyone knows Versus Channel though, outside of for Bob Jenkins's pretty good commentary, everyone remembers Versus Channel for their first IndyCar intro in 2009. They've got some great country music, but for some reason, you've got the IndyCars of who I can assume is Will Power and Dario Franchitti and some others. I think Scott Dixon might actually be there too. Their cars transform into mechanical animals. I get what you're trying to say. Racing is a bullfight. It is a fight to the end, through the streets and through ovals. I get it. I don't know if this was the best way to display it though, because IndyCar is not Power Rangers RPM. That might actually be the reason why they did it, actually. Power Rangers RPM came out in 2009. This intro was used in 2009. Make of that as you will. Make of it as you will. Make of it as you will. I don't think I'll talk about Champ Car here. All I'm saying is you can find all the Champ Car intros online, and the last one they had was quite bad. The one they had on NBC was quite good. The one they had on ESPN was alright. The one they had on Speed Channel was quite good. So, you know, hit or miss. They'll miss sometimes. So then you have IndyCar. You have 2000 through like 2005, where they've got the US flag showing some cool moments of IndyCar racing for the main intro that they use. And I like it. I like it quite a bit. The music is the same from here all the way up until their final broadcast in 2018. It's pretty good. The 2004 intro actually introduced some CGI elements by showing the car in a simulator rig with the cool moments in front of it. They've got some technical additions as well. In 2005, they take all that CGI aspect and use a different song. I love the 2005 ABC IndyCar theme. I love it to death. It is amazing. Someone needs to make a full version of it. I might make a full version of it because I know how to use CapCut better now. It's an amazing song. We're 47 minutes into this recording. This is episode 2. I could cut it out. I could cut out part of this for an episode 3, but I won't, because I love you guys that much. So yeah, anyway, they saw that they used CGI in this way and they were like, okay, that works. So we'll take the music that we've had since 2000, we'll mix in the CGI, we'll make it red, and like a really bright red for some reason, I don't know why, it's like a red alert thing. And yeah, you get their intro from 2006 through to like 2009, and it's pretty good. And that finally allows me to stop talking about the broadcaster intros and explain something real quick to you. Because a broadcaster intro is different to the intro used by the sport itself. And the intro used by the broadcaster is made by that broadcaster in general. Meanwhile, the intro used by the sport is made in-house. I'm pretty sure only FIA series have these. Only the FIA series. I know NASCAR and IndyCar don't bother. And I'm pretty sure IMSA doesn't bother either. And this is why I often get very irrationally angry when someone says, I put the actual F1 theme over this year's intro. And they play the chain and I'm just like, Is someone gonna tell them? I ain't gonna tell them. The chain is not the theme of F1 that you think it is. It may be the people's theme. It may be the old man's theme. But the F1 theme, you have two options. You have the theme made by Brian Tyler back in 2018, and you have the song made by Hans Zimmer for the F1 film that was released this year. You don't have another option, because no other song has been used by F1 in the modern time. Of course, you have the soundscapes from 94, 2003, I want to say, maybe it was 01, and 2009. Love the 2009 through 2017 soundscape, by the way. It was amazing, but I think it's good for me to preface it with that. I'm gonna go back in time until about, as far as I actually want to go back, I'm gonna be talking about F1, F2, F3, Formula E, and F1 Academy, until as far as back as I can. When we get to where I can't talk about F1 Academy any further, I'll talk about W Series, because it's basically the same thing. It's basically the same thing. And then 2019, I can't talk about it any further, and I'll keep going. This past year, 2025's F1 intro was a very much needed step up from 2024's. You get more racing CGI in. It shows the 75th anniversary. You've got two lines going in, which makes me think back to the 2009 through 2017 lights stuff, but it's probably more reminiscent of the early 2000s one, where you have just lines going around in circles. I feel like that's what they were trying to invoke with this. Maybe it's just racing stripes equals cool. They show all the drivers, which is an interesting idea. It's an interesting idea. When done correctly, it works well. I say this because Formula 2 and Formula 3 do not do this correctly. You give us a few seconds of CGI racing with the cars at the very end, but aside from that, it's a Microsoft PowerPoint. It was a literal PowerPoint in 2024 because the drivers didn't move. It was still images. We have moved on from the still images time. You could get away with it in 2016, not in 2024. You would transition with the cars, that's cool and all, but it's like, I like the way it starts though. Starting with that year's car in front of a background with the series logo behind it. Alright. Doesn't explain why you got rid of the F2 theme remix that you had from 2021 through 2023, but I'll allow it. F1 Academy makes me irrationally angry. It makes me very irrationally angry. Because for the series that is trying to champion women in motorsport, I get it. You want to show off your women in motorsport. But by only showing off your women in motorsport, you are not showing off your motorsport. This is a motorsport. This is not a beauty pageant. This is a motorsport, so you're racing more. That is what you are doing. You are racing. I understand there are people under the helmet, but I got into this through the racing. Show me the racing. Where is your racing? Where is your allusion to racing? I understand that you can allude to racing, and it can still be very cool. I'll touch on that later. Where is your racing? There is no racing in the F1 Academy intro. Highly disappointing. 2024's F1 intro was very interesting because you have a car being built up over several stages, I guess, while all the drivers are being shown off. It's alright. Okay. I already touched on the F2 and F1 Academy stuff. Forgot to talk about the Formula E intro from 2024, and I'll get onto it because 2023 saw the introduction of the Gen 3 car, the Formula E, and basically the same formula of intro that we see to this day. The new music is great. I much prefer DJ's music, but the new music is great. The CGI done is the best CGI from any motorsport. That's great. You show basically mostly racing while showing off all of your drivers. You've balanced it quite well. It is A tier. It is missing spice. You could do something with that CGI. Go for the Tron look. You could make it look like Tron again, like it did when you started Formula E. I love the white and cyan aspect of the early Formula E intros from seasons 1 and 2. I love that. That felt unique. It felt like I was experiencing racing from the future, which is what Formula E has been advertising itself as for most of its life. I prefer electric racing to advertise itself as this is racing in the future than this is environmentally friendly racing, because it isn't if you look at the lithium mining. Anyway, I don't hate the new intros. So let's go back to 2023 and whoa! This was a good year for intros. I get to speak about W Series here. I love all of the W Series intros. The purple, pink, green, all of the racing. Knives at Cease's music is also very good. Love it all. Love it. It's perfect. S tier. This isn't a tier list. There is no tier list. I'm just saying S tier in case this was a theoretical tier list. F2 and F3, I have to keep putting these hand in hand. They basically had the same intro from 2021 through to 2023. They would cut and add some things, but overall, it's pretty good. I like the way that they do things. They show the internals of the cars quite a bit, which is something that I feel like gets very much underappreciated. The 2023 F1 intro is only well known for two things. First of all, drivers walking through blocks of screen. Second of all, George Russell T-pose. I don't have to say anything else other than George Russell T-pose. However, you'll notice there is no racing here! The Formula 2 and Formula 3 intros show the start of the race at the very end. Okay, that's fine. You also show a driver engaging the clutch and releasing it at the very start, which is alright, that's fine. Where is your racing, Formula 1? And with 2022, I can talk about the old generation of Formula E intros here. I love the version of Are We Ready Yet by EJ that they use from season, I believe season 3 through to season 8. No, it was season 4 through season 8. I like that. I like it quite a lot. I prefer the way they did the intro in season 4 through season 6. I believe it was done by YouTuber Matt Amos. It was very good. I like it. I like what he did. It's very good. S tier intro stuff because he shows the technological stuff, he shows the calendar, manages to show off most of the important drivers, all within like 20-ish seconds. That's impressive, and that is peak. So they try and show off ABB Formula E Championship on the shoulder of the Gen 2 car as well. They try and show off a lot less racing and just the locations and drivers with the 2022 intro. And look, you had the spice. You could have just continued with that. I like seeing different things, but sometimes stability and continuity isn't a bad thing, and this was one of those times where it was a very good thing to have, and you threw it away. You threw it away. Also, shout out to the, I believe, Season 6 intro, where after the first few races, is because of the pandemic, they had a truncated schedule, and of course, 6 days in Berlin, 2 races. It was 12 days in Berlin with 6 races, actually, might have gone that the wrong way around. Anyway, they slowed down the intro, where they were showing all the locations. They only had 4 locations. That's kind of funny to me. It's that level of attention to detail that made me love Formula E. What year is it again? 2022? Alright, let's check in with the Formula 1 intro from 2022. This is alright. This is fine. It's not show-stopping. This is fine. It is nothing else other than fine. You are showing all of the drivers now in their team colours, and you are truncating the display of racing to just showing off parts of the new car instead of, showing racing. I don't like that. So, 2021, and since I've actually now talked about basically all of Formula E intros, 2021 means that I'm only touching on F1. Fittingly, this year you had 2 different intros from F1. The History Awaits intro was the standard intro of 2021, although Bottas and Verstappen swapped places because it's based off of the prior year's Drivers' Championship order, and this was to emphasise for the first time in multiple years, many years, we are going down to the wire, perfectly dead even on points. They show the season as a whole with some interesting attempt at CGI. It's not bad, it's just alright. But hey, they brought back light trails in 2021. In fact, 2021 stands as the last time that we would see light trails in an F1 intro, and bring it back, I say. Nothing to me says something's going fast than light trailing by your eye. Like, if you've been in a late night car ride, you might understand what I mean by this. That's why I'm a big advocate for light trails in my motorsport intros. If I had the opportunity to have Blender and do that, I would. I don't have After Effects though, so I can't do that. So I don't know why I'm bringing it up. 2020 then. F2 and F1. I can't actually talk about Formula 3 because I can't find Formula 3's intro. The F2 intro uses a different remix of the F1 theme. It's the best version of the F1 theme, aside from whatever they were on in Las Vegas for the 2023 presentation. That theme goes hard, but the techno version of the F2 theme goes hard as well. And in my opinion, puts it in S tier. That song alone puts it in S tier. Matt Amos, love your intro, hate your tier list. I hate your tier list. Don't compare broadcaster intros with the sport's own intros. They have different purposes. Thank you. But yes, I much prefer this. If this was the style of intro that we were getting from F1 each year, where we are seeing famous moments in F1 history through the lens of a metallic version of the F1 logo, you're seeing parts of the car, different parts of the car, you're seeing a spark plug, Love to see a spark plug Motorsport. You know, drivers with light leaks and their number behind them. That's good stuff. That's great stuff. Bonus points for zooming in on Mick Schumacher's name tag with a V10 driving by. You know, make use of your star power, I guess. Meanwhile, it's F1's 70th anniversary this year, so of course we're going to look through the F1 logo, look through the 7 decades of Formula 1 while looking at the drivers, have the Vine Boom play when Jos Verstappen's fueling issue from Nürburgring, or was it Hockenheim 1994? I don't remember where in Germany, I just remember it was the German Grand Prix of 1994, where his car burst into flames due to a fueling issue. They had the Vine Boom play at that point. I'm not kidding, there is just the Vine Boom in the F1 theme for some reason. It's very cool. I like how they end it with We Races 1 as well. That's very nice. 2019. I like the 2019 F2 intro. It's not perfect. Zhou Guan Yu's thumbs up is something alright. Showing a random child in the grandstand, it's giving Jimmy Savile. And I don't like it when something gives Jimmy Savile vibes. I don't like that guy. Not at all. But the chromatic aberrations, the wide angle zooms, that's all great. Love it quite a bit. Don't like how the drivers are compositioned on the background, though. That looks cheap as heck. Meanwhile, Formula 1. This intro was memed. I love the F1 2019 intro meme. I love level 200 porridge boss Valtteri Bottas. I still laugh at that 7 years later. It's just beautiful. You love to see it. But even through that, is the intro itself quite good? Well, you have the 2 lines of the F1 logo moving through walls with drivers in front of them with their nationalities. It's reusing a lot of the CGI elements of the 2018 intro, which is interesting. It's got drivers with their country flags behind them in this illuminated style. But again, the CGI is basically all lifted up from 2018. 2018 is the second year of the FIA Formula 2 series, or championship, or whatever they called it. The first year... Dropped my phone, sorry. You know, that happens when you're recording for an hour, over an hour in fact. The first year, over in the UK, of course, we got Sky Sport making their own intro. It's basically the same thing that they had for GP2 over that time. And it's actually a very good intro, what Sky Sport did. The theme of it, you might hear quite a lot if you watch some of my peers, because Viper by Dan Reed is currently still 12's theme, or better than Sparks YT15's theme. Just use the actual 30-second cut, get me to make you an intro, man, because you are not a video editor. You are not a video editor. But, you know, looking at the 2018 F2 intro, you'd expect me to say that you are not a video editor. Wrong. It's great. I like it quite a bit. Saying what everything in the sport represents through text, instead of letting the racing footage itself and the drivers' facial emotions just do all of the talking, is very amateurish. It's a mistake. I tried doing this back in my own racing series that I run, my own racing league, the ERL, the season 14 intro. Tried to do something similar, and it didn't work then. So a professional should know, doesn't work for you either. I also like the F2 tagline of the start of tomorrow. I don't understand why you should see Formula 2 as its own thing when no one sees Formula 2 as its own thing. Why would Formula 2 be its own standalone thing if it was called Formula 2? It should be its own standalone thing if it's called something else that doesn't include the number 2. If it includes the number 2, then it implies that there's something above it called Formula 1. I'm just saying. But I do like the blue tint that they do over it because, F2 is blue. And F1 is red. It wasn't always obviously red. But in 2018, they made sure F1 was red. They hired Brian Tyler to compose a new theme. And yes, they do show the drivers quite a lot, in my opinion, a little too much. A guy actually edited the F1 intro together so it would remove all of the drivers, and I'm not going to lie, that version works quite a lot better. It's a lot more impactful, it's a lot snappier, but all of the CG is great. The drivers... It's not all of the drivers on the grid, which is good. You don't need to show every driver on the grid. You are a motorsport. Show your racing. And that's what the 2 lines in the F1 logo do throughout the 2018 and in fact the 2019 intros. It represents the racing. You don't actually get to see any cars in them, no, but it represents it. So now we get into the pre-Liberty Media era of Formula 1. 2009 through to 2017 had a very similar intro. You would have 11 seconds of light streams going across the screen, shooting at you, going through corners, representing race cars, because you've got sounds of V8s until midway through 2014, when they would change it to the V6 turbo hybrids. I'm more familiar with that version of the intro. They actually changed the animation itself for 2012 for some reason. Honestly, fair enough. But then the lights and streaks would reveal the F1 logo. And I like that end bit quite a lot. It's iconic. But the reason I say this is because it's kind of an evolution of what they had before, because in 2003, I believe, is when they introduced the line streaking around a circle, and they would show it from many different angles, and then end off with the grey line revealing the F1 logo. Okay, it's not bad, it's not great, but it's not bad. Before this, you have the FIA Formula 1 intro. I understand people see it as iconic, I understand people like the riff. I'm gonna say this right now, it's a product of its time, and it doesn't deserve to be compared with anything else. It is very much a product of its time. It's not great. I'd go as far as to argue the CGI itself, the logo, quite bad. I understand what you're trying to do, making it look like there's an F1 car in the F1 logo. I know it might seem quite cool to you. It's actually quite bad. It looks bad. It's a product of its time, and it's the last thing I have to talk about. So what do we learn from all of this? Well, quite simply, on the music front, for your motorsport intro, you need some hype music. You need rock, in my opinion. You can go orchestral, but in my opinion, rock just works better. Guitars sound like race cars. Guitars sound like race cars. I'm shocked that only Sky Sport has tried to use any sort of drum and bass or breakcore type of music for a motorsport intro when they had the rights to IndyCar here in the UK from 2005 through to 2011. That was the only time you would hear breakcore for your IndyCar intro or any actual motorsport intro, and honestly went so hard, especially seeing as the lead instrument aside from the drums was a guitar. The song they used was called Sky Feedback. I recommend you go listen to it. It is peak. But again, yes, drum and bass breakcore with rock elements is, in my opinion, one of the greatest ways to get your intro working quite well. I think this is a very obvious thing that no one has ever gotten wrong aside from myself, funnily enough. Your intro should not go any longer than 1 minute in length. Although the song that you use can be longer, you just have to truncate it or move it into your actual race broadcast, and then it works quite well. In terms of the intro, you have two choices: real life footage or CGI, and you better make good use of your CGI. You don't gotta make it look fully realistic. Go for the Tron look. Be inspired by Tron. Use some light trail effects, because that actually makes it feel quite cool. And of course, this seems quite obvious when you're a video editor. Make sure that the cuts match the music beats. I've seen some people try and make intros that don't match the music beats. That is a fail. That is an instant fail. So yeah, that is the second podcast here on Spark Plug Motorsport 2. I'm uploading this late on New Year's Eve. So for most of you, when you listen to this, it's 2026. What are your New Year's resolutions? What are your predictions for the 2026 Formula 1 and Formula E seasons? I'm gonna try and get some podcasts recorded after each race here. So yeah, from me, here on Spark Plug Motorsport 2, see you around.